Imagine being trapped alone in the wilderness, with your arm pinned under a heavy boulder. You're miles away from civilization, and no one knows where you are. As the hours turn into days, the reality of your situation sets in. You have limited food and water, and your strength is fading. The only way to survive is to make an unthinkable decision that could change your life forever. This is the gripping story of Aron Ralston, a man who faced the ultimate fight for survival and defied the odds in a life-or-death situation. Aron Ralston was not just an ordinary guy, he was an experienced outdoorsman with a deep love for adventure. From a young age, Aron embraced hiking, climbing, and exploring some of the most remote and rugged terrains. He sought thrills in nature, constantly pushing his physical and mental limits. Whether it was scaling steep cliffs or navigating through challenging trails, Aron thrived on the excitement of the great outdoors. His adventurous spirit drove him to seek new experiences, and he cherished every moment spent in nature's embrace. Blue John Canyon is a narrow and remote slot canyon located in the heart of Utah. Known for its stunning beauty, this breathtaking landscape features towering sandstone walls that create a maze of shadows and light. The vibrant colors of the rock formations are mesmerizing, drawing adventurers from all over. However, this canyon is not just beautiful, it is also isolated, with limited access and few signs of civilization nearby. For Aron Ralston, Blue John Canyon represented the ultimate escape into nature. It was a place where he could challenge himself and enjoy the serenity of the wilderness. Little did he know that this seemingly perfect backdrop would soon become the setting for an incredible story of survival, testing his limits in ways he never imagined. On April 25th, 2003, Aron Ralston set off on a solo hiking trip into Blue John Canyon. Excited and eager for adventure, he didn't inform anyone about his plans or where he was headed. This decision would prove to be critical. As an experienced outdoorsman, Aron was confident in his skills and believed he could handle any situation that might arise. However, the absence of a safety net, like telling someone his itinerary, meant that no one would come looking for him if something went wrong. This choice would have serious consequences as the hours turned into days, and he found himself trapped in a life or death situation. With no one aware of his whereabouts, Aron's chances of rescue grew slimmer with each passing moment. Little did he know, this fateful hike would lead him to face unimaginable challenges and force him to confront his own limits. During his hike, Aron Ralston ventured deeper into Blue John Canyon, captivated by the beauty surrounding him. However, as he climbed, disaster struck. A large boulder suddenly shifted, pinning his right arm against the canyon wall. At first, Aron couldn't believe what had happened. He struggled and pushed against the heavy rock, hoping it would move, but the boulder wouldn't budge. Panic began to set in as he realized the gravity of the situation. Alone in a remote canyon with no one around, his mind raced with fear and disbelief. He shouted for help, but the only sound that returned was the echo of his own voice. Hours passed, and the reality of being trapped began to sink in. Aron knew he had to find a way to free himself or face the terrifying possibility that he might never leave the canyon. As the hours ticked by, Aron Ralston realized that he was in for a long fight for survival. He spent the first few hours trying every possible way to free himself. He twisted and turned, pulling with all his strength, but the boulder remained firmly in place. Ralston had a few tools with him. He carried a dull multi-tool knife, some ropes, and a video camera. He tried to use the knife to chip away at the rock, but it was too dull to make any difference. He attempted to create leverage with the ropes, but nothing seemed to work. With each passing minute, hope began to fade and fear crept in. He recorded messages on his camera, speaking to his loved ones, sharing his thoughts, and documenting his ordeal. Aron was now not just fighting against the boulder, he was battling against despair and the isolation of the canyon. As the days passed, Aron Ralston faced a harsh reality. He had very limited food and water, but knowing he had to make them last, he carefully rationed what little he had. Each drop of water and each bite of food felt precious, as he calculated how long they might sustain him. With every hour that went by, the risk of dehydration grew. The heat of the sun beat down on him, and he could feel his body growing weaker. Exhaustion set in, and his hope began to wane. The isolation was deafening, and the vast canyon around him felt like a prison. Ralston tried to stay focused, reminding himself to stay calm and think clearly. But with each passing moment, the weight of his situation became heavier. The thought of never being rescued haunted him, adding to his feelings of despair. As the days stretched on, Aron Ralston felt the weight of his situation pressing down on him. In a desperate attempt to reach out one last time, he began recording video messages for his family and friends. He poured his heart out, expressing his love for them and sharing memories that flooded his mind. These recordings became his final words, a way to say goodbye to the people who mattered most to him. He spoke with emotion, not knowing if he would ever see them again. He reflected on his life, thinking about the adventures he had experienced and the moments that had shaped him. Each message was a testament to his love and the connection he cherished with his family. On the fifth day, the reality of his situation hit Ralston hard. He realized that his chances of being rescued were growing slimmer by the hour. Solo, fear and despair crept in as he began to experience hallucinations, visions blurring the lines of reality. In this dark moment, he prepared himself for the possibility of death. He took a rock and etched his name, along with the date he believed would be his last, into the canyon wall. It was a haunting reminder of his struggle and a way to leave a mark behind. As he faced the darkness, he clung to the hope that somehow, against all odds, he might still find a way to survive. After 5 long days trapped in the canyon, Aron Ralston faced a terrifying reality, and he realized that the only way to survive was to amputate his own arm. It was a decision that no one should ever have to make, but he understood that without drastic action, he would not make it out alive. The weight of this choice hung heavy on him, but deep down, he knew he had to fight for his life. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for what lay ahead. There was no turning back now. With a dull multi-tool in hand, Ralston began the agonizing process of amputating his trapped arm. The blade was not sharp enough for this gruesome task, and he struggled to cut through flesh and muscle. Every slice was a battle against the pain that shot through him, but he pushed himself to continue. The process took over an hour, each moment feeling like an eternity. He had to dig deep, using all his strength to focus on survival. The mental torment was just as intense as the physical agony. He thought about his family, his life, and what he would miss if he didn't make it out. Finally, with one last push, he severed the last connection that held him to the boulder. It was a moment of both relief and horror. As he freed himself, blood flowed from the wound, and he knew he had to act fast. Ralston had survived the unthinkable, but now he faced the challenge of getting to safety. After finally freeing himself, Aron Ralston faced another daunting challenge. He still had to navigate through the canyon, rappel down a 65-foot drop, and then hike several miles to safety. Each step was a battle against pain, exhaustion, and heavy bleeding. But despite the odds, his determination to live pushed him forward. He focused on the goal ahead, picturing the moment he would be free from the canyon's grip. With each breath he took fueled his will to survive, driving him to keep moving even when every ounce of strength felt drained. Ralston knew that giving up was not an option. He recalled the loved ones waiting for him, and that thought gave him the motivation to continue, no matter how difficult the journey became. Just as he was nearing the end of his physical strength, Aron Ralston encountered a family of hikers. They were his lifeline, and their presence filled him with hope. They quickly alerted the authorities about his condition, and soon a helicopter was dispatched to airlift him to safety. This moment marked a turning point in Ralston's harrowing ordeal. As he was lifted into the helicopter, relief washed over him. He had fought through unimaginable challenges, and against all odds survived. This was the beginning of his road to recovery, a journey that would change his life forever. After the incident, Aron Ralston's life changed dramatically. The experience of being trapped and ultimately surviving reshaped his perspective on life. He developed a deeper appreciation for the people around him and the opportunities he still had. Every moment became more meaningful, and he realized how important it was to connect with others. Ralston began to embrace life with a newfound passion, cherishing the simple things that many often take for granted. His survival taught him about resilience, and he wanted to share that lesson with the world. Ralston's survival story quickly made headlines around the globe, capturing the public's imagination. His incredible tale of endurance and bravery resonated with many people. It sparked discussions about human resilience and the lengths one might go to survive. People were inspired by his determination and strength in the face of overwhelming odds. Ralston became a symbol of survival, showing that the human spirit can triumph even in the most challenging circumstances. His story reminded everyone that life is precious and should be lived to the fullest. After his harrowing experience, Aron Ralston wrote a memoir titled Between a Rock and a Hard Place. In this book, he detailed his incredible ordeal, sharing not just the events that unfolded, but also his thoughts and feelings during those dark days. His story captivated readers and brought awareness to the dangers of outdoor adventures. Later, Ralston's memoir was adapted into the film 127 Hours, starring James Franco. The film brought his story to an even wider audience, showcasing his bravery and determination in a powerful way. Aron Ralston's story continues to inspire many people, from outdoor enthusiasts to everyday individuals facing their own struggles. His determination to survive against all odds has become a powerful symbol of human strength and resilience. Ralston's experience teaches us that even in the most difficult situations, we have the ability to fight for our lives. His story reminds us to appreciate every moment and to never give up, no matter how tough things get. Through his journey, Ralston encourages others to push their limits and to embrace the challenges life throws their way. Aron Ralston's experience taught us valuable lessons about safety in the wilderness, and one of the most important lessons is to always inform someone about your plans and location when hiking alone. This simple step can make a huge difference in case of an emergency. Ralston's survival was nothing short of a miracle, but his initial decisions, like going alone and not telling anyone, could have been avoided. These lessons remind us that preparation and communication are key when enjoying the great outdoors. Despite the life-changing event of losing his arm, Aron Ralston did not let it stop him from pursuing his passion for outdoor adventures. He continued to climb mountains and explore, embracing the life he loved. However, he approached these adventures with more caution and preparation. Ralston learned to respect the wilderness and the risks that come with it. His journey shows us that even after facing unimaginable challenges, it's possible to adapt and keep chasing our dreams. Aron's story inspires others to pursue their passions while being mindful of safety. Aron Ralston's story is a powerful testament to the unbreakable spirit of human beings. To his will to live, even in the face of unimaginable odds, shows us what we are capable of when pushed to our limits. This is not just a story of survival, it's a story of resilience and determination. Aron's journey reminds us that no matter how difficult life gets, we have the strength within us to overcome great challenges. His experience teaches us to appreciate life and to face our face out of courage. In the end, it's our spirit and determination that define us, just as Aron Ralston's did. And with that said, thanks for watching True Stories. If this tale of mystery and superstition caught your interest, hit that subscribe button to join us for more fascinating stories from history's strangest corners. Until next time, stay curious.